A man sees in this world what he carries in his heart. I think that many times in life, you know, we go unlooked at by ourselves, unappreciated by the very person that gives appreciation to all else. I realize that, you know, life is lived in sort of a external perception. That is to say that we're constantly looking outward to, connotate things, to give things a prescription, to allow things to be within our own world. But, in saying that, a man sees the world with what he carries in his heart is also to say that we're also responsible for somewhat how we perceive the world. I realize that there are some like outstanding circumstances that, are overtly a certain way, and they definitely would have a negative impact. However, in reference to the things that are somewhat mundane and in our spectrum of control, I realize that, we tend to focus a lot on what isn't rather than what we currently possess. And especially with ourselves, I feel like a lot of people nowadays treat themselves as if they're some sort of self improvement project, or they're, in a state of constantly looking for the things negative about themselves in order to improve them, in order to, make change. And that's not necessarily a negative thing at all. I feel like change is a part of what we are supposed to do. However, I realize that, you know, you can't only have one side of the coin when it comes to these kind of situations. You can't only focus on the negative aspects or the parts of you that are seeking out change. You have to focus on the things that you want to stay, the things that you actually appreciate. The most underappreciated person, I feel like, in our lives, in the individual perspective, is the self. Who we are, who we want to be, and everything that's led us up to the point we're at right now. I feel like a lot of people don't take the time, myself included, to look back at the life they've lived and all the hardship that they've endured, and really give themselves that pat on the back. We so readily give it to others, and even if not, I know we're not trying to give it to ourselves. It's one thing to be, outstanding about it and almost cocky in a way, or almost too self appreciative. But, I think any is a good amount. Any is a good amount in reference to how much you should, you know, give yourself those props. And I feel like some people have the mindset that, if you give yourself a certain amount of appreciation for maybe a small thing, you'll get comfortable. And I feel like that's just in the eye of the connotator. You know, if you allow yourself to think that a small victory is all you're capable of, then of course that's where you're gonna lie. That's how dormant you're gonna be. But if you allow yourself to be somewhat fluid and go with the flow, the natural prescription of life, and maybe alter it a little bit with your own discipline and then perspective of the world, choosing a positive outlook rather than negative in order to live your life more positively. I say it all the time. It's like Pascal's gamble. Like there's ultimately nothing to lose in thinking that the world is positive. If you live your life as if the world is a positive place, as if there's more positivity, as if you look for the positivity, and it turns out to be negative, you still live your life more comfortably than a lot of people who think of it as a negative thing. I don't feel like life is supposed to be connotated. It's beauty and ugly all at the same time, clouded by a curtain of emotion. Neither dissipates the other, rather it just covers. So the implication would be to take the time to look at yourself and realize that, you're a person too. It's both internal and external, the way we are. And 99% of who we are, I believe, is an internal thing. And I feel like people don't focus on that enough. They focus on, what other people can see, but, they say they don't care what other people think, but also, alter the way they're perceived in order to fit into some sort of social standing. So, to exist in some sort of comfort, exist in some sort of realistic way of living out this so called ideal, is to attempt to live both, attempt to be both within your body and within your mind at the same time. Too lost in one of each is definitely gonna be a detriment to who we are, because we're a mix of all those things, not just one singular way of expression. And who we are is definitely subject to change, and it's not I feel like people think of themselves as some sort of a stagnant thing, like who they are a year ago is the same as who they are today. And I think that kind of perception just comes with, ego and identity. We associate with ourselves so much that we fail to realize the changes that happen each and every day.